Today we're going to talk about eating healthy, and your health is your wealth. I have been praying for, every year I pray for center of attraction, because I ask God, what do you want me to say to your people? And one year I talked about the little foxes that spoiled the vine. And one year we talked about you could have both. Remember that when we talked about the twins? And this year I'm going to tell you a story, actually kind of like a little bit of a parable that God gave me for this body. So a lady goes to an expensive purse store to purchase a purse. She purchased that purse and takes the purse and put it on the shelf waiting for a special occasion. She waited till her 50th birthday party, and she pulled the purse off the shelf and took it to a party. She had that purse, and it was a big purse, with her everywhere she went because it was expensive. And she had to sit down. And she scooted the purse in a small little corner to take away from everybody else just to make sure nobody touched her purse. And what happened was a lady just walked up to her, and she wasn't sure, but stepped on her expensive purse. And she said, "Are you crazy? This purse cost a fortune." And the lady says, "It's just a purse." And she said, "You have treated me with disrespect because this purse is one of a kind. You treated a $5,000 purse like it was cheap, and it was not. It was very precious." What does it mean? Well, we are vessels just like that purse, one that is unique and special, made for a specific purpose. It says before we were born, God knew us, and then for this special time and for this special place, he took us off the shelf and brought us here to do a specific work. Now, we can't treat our bodies, which is the purse, a vessel, disrespectfully. We can't let other people treat it disrespectfully, and we can't treat it disrespectfully ourselves. We were bought with a price. Therefore, we are valuable. Do you understand the connection between the stories? Okay, Willie, I'm ready. The first verse that we have is 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20. It says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples?" Let's see if we can get this working. If not, I'll have Willie. We go to the next one. It's okay. While we get this working, each one of you have the slides in front of you, so we're going to move on. I brought it just in case something happened, so Brian will work with this. It says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own." We were singing about altars, our body being an altar, and I was getting really excited because I'm like, it's kind of the same, right? Because we're carrying God's Spirit inside of us. This is a temple that we carry, God's Spirit. You were bought with the price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. This is the valuableness of you. You were bought with the price, so honor God with your bodies. The next scripture says, "Therefore," Romans 12:1, "I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing unto God." How can we be pleasing unto God? This is your true and proper worship. How do we honor God? Spiritually, we know that we honor God through fasting, witnessing, paying tithes. But somewhere the church has lost the physical side of honoring God. Thank you, babe. We have lost the physical side of honoring God, which is taking care of ourselves, longevity of life, and we don't recognize that the devil will try to stop our calling by killing our bodies. Do we understand that? The devil will try to stop the calling by killing the body. And he'll try to kill it early before we can complete the call. You see that? So secular people know that the body is worth something, right? Because they want to show it off and do all kinds of stuff. But we have to know that the body's worth something too. How can God get his information out to people if we don't take the body seriously? How can he get it out if we are a vessel and the vessel is broken? We got to do the best we can with the body we were given in order to do what he's called us to do, and to do it as long as he called us to do. When we look at the benefits of healthy eating for adults, what does it do? It helps you live longer. Do you see that on that page? It helps you live longer. It keeps your teeth and eyes healthy and skin. It supports muscles. It boosts immunity. What is immunity for? Fighting infection. It boosts immunity. It strengthens our bones. It lowers the risk of heart disease. It lowers the risk of diabetes. Did you know that obesity was related to cancer? It lowers the risk of cancer. It supports healthy pregnancies and breastfeeding. It helps digestive system functions. And it helps you achieve and maintain a healthy weight. How does it work for kids? Well, it supports their brain development, their growth, and their immunity. Many kids fall short of eating the right amount of fruits and vegetables and foods that they're supposed to eat each day. On the next slide, if you look, it says go light and grab a bite. In 1960, only 26% of the money that we spent on food was spent on going out to eat. That's 1960. 2011 went all the way up to 49%. Okay? Now, if you can see, it says at the bottom of this, it says the African American eats away from home 4 times a week, and the studies have shown that that translates to an extra 8 pounds a year from eating out. Okay, so what about 2023? 2023, Americans spent 55% of their food budget on eating out. 55. And in 2024, the average U.S. family ate out 5 to 6 times per week. And if we extrapolate and just look at before and now, that would be around, I would say, 10 to 12 extra pounds a year from just eating out. We understand why people eat out because we're very busy. But our kids are eating out, and if we go to the next slide, we'll see among children aged 1 through 5, 1 in 2 does not eat a daily vegetable. 1 in 3 does not eat a daily fruit. Now, I'm going to tell you, my son is here, and he says, Mom, please stop making salad, fruit salad, and meat for dinner. And each time it's a different salad, it's a different fresh fruit salad, and a lean meat. And I tell him, listen, this is how people are supposed to eat. This is what we're supposed to do. Please, Mom, don't do it. So the reason why we got to eat healthy is because obesity is a problem for us in America, but I'm going to show you some of the numbers from Saginaw, Michigan, is a problem. Why is obesity important? Because it's the precursor, the beginning stages of diabetes, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, strokes, cancer. What are the contributing factors for obesity? Poor eating habits. Now, poor eating habits says that we're eating poorly, and it squarely puts 100% of the responsibility on the person that's eating it. And we do have to take some responsibility for it. But I wanted to show some other, because in public health, we look at more than just one place. We look at all of it together. And the thing is, poor access to healthy food is a problem here in Saginaw. We have food deserts where all you have is a dollar store in your neighborhood, and so this is where you can get. My kids said, I want some Takis. I said, well, what is that? I never heard of that before. Like, where do you get Takis from? Before they were in the grocery stores, they were in convenience stores, gas stations, stuff like that, so people could easily grab high salt, high concentrated, high trans fat foods that they can go get. The cost of healthy food is much more expensive than unhealthy food. We know that. We know that an apple costs more than a bag of chips. We know that. So people don't have a lot of money. They will choose what they can eat and get more of it than the small amount they have. Lack of exercise. This is a big one. And we'll talk about this if we have time at the end. But remember, does anybody remember how many minutes of exercise an adult is supposed to have per week? 150 minutes of exercise per week. That's 22 minutes a day. Okay? And so if you don't have it, it doesn't all have to be at the same time, but it's supposed to be 120 minutes. And it says moderately severe exercise. What is that? You shouldn't be able to sing a song while you're exercising. If you can sing a song, I got sunshine, you're not exercising hard enough. Because you should be like, I got sunshine. That's when you know you got moderately intensive exercise. Some of us, we can't change our genetics. It is what it is. We know that. It is what it is. But what we can change is the precursor to this, which is obesity. That can be changed. And then our environment. In public health, we talk about green space. What is green space? It's the ability to go to a park and that the park is clean and it doesn't have animals running in there and that people can access it. They can walk around. In a lot of our neighborhoods, we don't have enough green space for people to do the things that they do. Even if you do have green space, the problem comes in is it safe green space? So if you're walking out there, are you going to be shot? Is something going to happen to you? Is a neighborhood dog going to chase you down the street? That's the question you have to ask. So we have all these problems that put us at risk for obesity here in Saginaw. If we go to the next slide. If we look at Saginaw in general, and I know you guys look at that because I did print these in color because I wanted you to be able to see what's happening. That first line that we look at, it said in 2016 to 2018, 2016 to 2018, 42% of people were obese. This is Saginaw County, 32% were overweight. Now let me just have a small discussion about obesity versus overweight so everybody's on the same page. We calculate as medical professionals what obesity is versus overweight versus normal weight based on the BMI. Now, you can go on your phone right now, look up BMI calculator, and put your weight in there, your height. It'll give you a number. If you're between 25 and 29.99, then you're overweight. If you're 30 to 35, you're obese. And then it goes to class 2 obesity, class 3 obesity by every 5. Okay, so 42% in 2016 of Saginaw County people were overweight. 32%, you see right there, 2016 to 2018 were overweight and 42% were obese. If you look at 2017 to 2019, you can see that 32% of the people that were overweight, that's the middle one, went down. Did you see that? You see how that middle one went down? But guess what went up instead? The obesity one went up. So that 5% of people who they were overweight, they just became obese, okay? And then they stayed obese from 2018 to 2020. The healthy people at the bottom, guess what they did? They stayed healthy. They figured out the pattern. They got the environment. They got the right foods. But people got heavier and more obese in Saginaw. When we did focus groups, on the next slide, when we did focus groups to talk to people about obesity in Saginaw, we asked them, how do you feel about obesity? What is your definition of obesity? And I want you to see, you see where it says 18.5 to 24, the light green person? That's normal BMI right there. 25 to 29 is overweight, okay? The people in Saginaw think that overweight is normal weight. That the first stage of obesity is just a little chunky. And then you move on. Finally, they think that class 2 obesity is obesity. What am I telling you? That the mindset of the people here is shifted over to being healthy. To being overweight. and unhealthy. Our thought process is you can be chunkier in Saginaw and be okay, but it is increasing our rates of diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. So what we have to do now, if you could imagine, if we were in California, that whole thing would be shifted this way, right? Because people in California are super skinny, and people that are normal weight say that I'm overweight, right? But we have a different problem here in Saginaw. We're shifted this way. We think that overweight is normal. The first stage of obesity is just a little chunky, and then the second stage, class 2, that's obese. So what we have to do is change our mindset to say, it's okay, we still look good, I get it, whatever weight you are. But our mindset has to be, we need to get a little bit smaller. Not because we're trying to be cute, not because we're trying to get people to look at us, because we're vessels that have been taken off of a shelf and sent here to do a work, and we can't do the work if we're sick. And if we're overweight and obese, then what's happening is put us at risk for all the diseases that we know all of our family members have. We can do better. We can be that altar that we talked about, constantly burning. But in order to do that, we got to get our health in order. When we looked at our Saginaw people in our surveys, 30% reported physical health as not good on 6 or more days out of 30 days. 41% reported that their physical health prevented them from doing usual activities like work, school, and hobbies. 44% often and sometimes worried about running out of food before they can buy more. 27% received emergency food from a church food pantry or food bank, and 84% got their food from, most of their food from the grocery store. But you have to ask yourself, where is 16% people getting their food from? It's a chance from fast food or convenience store. When we look at the next slide, adults' leisure time watching TV. This is us adults in Saginaw County watching TV. Do we exercise? No. But how long do we watch TV? Look at 41%, 2 to 4 hours. 18%, greater than 5 hours. That means we do have some time to take care of ourselves if we take the time to do it. But we got to take the time. When we look at our kids, it's hard. Adolescents obesity. If you look at, this is how much people are exercising. Who can you see on your paper, or can you see up there, who are the people struggling the most? Black females are not exercising. Our little girls are not exercising. They're struggling. Black females. When we look at the next slide, Willie, I'm going to have you go to the next slide, and when you do that, go ahead and skip it, because I'm going to go to the next one after that. When we look at our middle school kids, 26% of them watch TV or on their phones 3 or more hours a day. 26% ate 5 or more servings per day of fruits and vegetables during the past 7 days, compared to 31%. These are our kids not getting enough fruits and vegetables in their diet. When we look at our high school kids, and William, have you skip that one, and we'll go on to the next one when we go to high school? 75% of our high school kids spend 3 or more hours on a TV, computer, smartphone, or electronics. 23% of them have 5 or more servings a day of fruits and vegetables. 24% did not eat breakfast in the past 7 days. Our kids need some help. If we look at middle school kids in general, the percentage of our middle school kids that are obese, from 2019 to 2020, it was 16%. From 21 to 22, it was 26%. It went up 10%. That means that we as parents, we got to do better. I mean, as a parent, I have to model the behavior for my kids to say, this is normal. I know I came here and I said, when we lived on Century Drive in a township, after dinner, everybody was walking around. And I went outside and said, what y'all doing? Why y'all doing this? And they said, oh, our parents just told us after you eat, it's best to just walk around. And these people, I said, Brian, get the dog, get the kids. I think we're supposed to be walking around. It's a whole different mindset. when you see it, we have to model these behaviors for our kids. When we look at the high school kids, it wasn't as bad. They went from 20% in 2019 to 2020 to 2021 to 2022, 22%. So they went up by 2%. So what I'm going to do is let's talk about what we need to know in order to have the information we need in order to be healthy. So I'm going to ask you, how much do you know about healthy eating? According to the CDC, how many cups of fruits and vegetables should most adults eat each day? What's the answer? B. 1 to 2 cups. You can circle that, put the answer down. Let's go to number 2. How many cups of vegetables should adults aim to eat daily based on the CDC recommendation? B, 2 to 3 cups. Number 3, whole fruits are better than fruit juice because they contain more fiber. True or false? True. What's the purpose of fiber? Fiber is something that is insoluble. It doesn't get eaten inside of the body, doesn't absorb it in. So what it does, you put it in your mouth, it goes through the whole entire body, down the esophagus, down to large bowel, small bowel, and out. And what it does is remove toxins as it's coming out. This is why they're so important. So it is important to eat the fruits and vegetables because you have fiber in the diet. A high fiber diet helps remove and decreases risk of colon cancer. This is if we eat the things that God made and not necessarily man-made. You know, I talk to people a lot of times about whole foods. How many ingredients does a whole food have? 1. And people laugh. I've been in places and they actually laughed at me like that's the most ridiculous things I ever heard. No, what I'm saying, if God made it, it usually has 1 ingredient, right? An apple has an apple ingredient. That's it. An orange has an orange ingredient. That's it. Grapes have grapes ingredient. That's it. Cauliflower has cauliflower ingredient. That's it. That's called a whole food. If you want to eat healthy, eat as many whole foods as you can. A bean has beans, and that's it in it, right? So if you do the things God made, it makes it easier. Number 4, which of the following is not considered a healthy protein option? Right? Fried chicken. That was a given. I know. You know why they chose fried chicken? Because it's delicious. Everybody loves fried chicken wings. Well, the buffalo wings. But you can get protein from beans and salmon and healthy fish and lentils. And every time I mention lentils, people go, what is lentils? I know in this crowd, people know what lentils are because our grandmothers used to make lentils all the time. These are healthy proteins that you can eat. Next, number 5. The CDC recommends making at least what fraction of your grains whole grains? B, 1/2. Whole grains decrease risk of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and strokes. It helps with heart health, digestion, blood sugar regulation. It's packed with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. What are whole grains? Oats, barley, brown rice, wild rice, corn, whole wheat. Those are the whole grains that we should be looking at eating on a regular basis. And the whole food, the more whole it is, the better it is. Because the only ingredients of rice is brown rice is brown rice. It's not complicated. The next one, which type of fat should be limited in a healthy eating plan? Now, this was a tough one. This one even got me. It's B. Now, let me just say, D is polyunsaturated fat is not great, but the worst one is a certain form, trans fat, is artificially created. It increases the bad cholesterol called the LDL, and it decreases the good cholesterol called the HDL. I always tell people the L for lower. You want less of the bad one, HDL, higher. You want higher of the good one. So it actually increases the bad, decreases the good, it increases your risk of diabetes, and the body can't metabolize it well because it was man-made. Okay? It is put in a lot of like prepackaged foods like fried foods, cookies, and crackers. So look at the trans fat and see how much. Unsaturated fats like olive oil are very healthy for you. When we look at what the government and the CDC recommends for eating, it's the My Plate. Now, I'm not sure if everybody see this, but this is why we eat vegetables and fruit and vegetables at dinner, because fruits and vegetables should take up half the plate. Now, if you're diabetic, you already know fruit is sugar, and you got to cut back on the sugar for the fruit. So yours should be more vegetables taking up the plate and not corn and peas, because everybody loves those, but those have a high amount of sugar in them. So you want to make sure that there are like non-starchy squash and asparagus and cauliflower and broccoli. All of those are good ones to fill up half your plate with that. The grains should be what kind of grains? Whole grains. As whole as you can get them. And then a lean protein is very important. Number 7, true or false? Sodium, which is salt intake for most adults, should be less than 2,300 milligrams per day. That's true. Now, I just looked up to try to find out for you guys. A Big Mac meal has 1,425 milligrams in it. A Chick-fil-A spicy chicken meal, that's the delicious one, has 2,090 milligrams of sodium in it. So what I'm telling you is not that you can't eat it. What I'm saying is, if you got that sodium, you are getting close to your daily allotment right there in that alone. So be careful, because too much sodium increases your risk of high blood pressure, chronic kidney disease, heart failure. It's important for us to try to keep that down. When we look at too much sodium, we can say that 1 teaspoon of table salt contains 2,400 milligrams of sodium. So think about this. When you're going like this and not really measuring, I don't know how much you're putting on there. You don't know how much you're putting on there, but you might be getting more than your daily servings. And this is what I have to tell you, that most foods already have salt in them, so you don't have to add any salt whatsoever. You can see the whole list: sandwiches, rice, pasta, starchy vegetables, meat and poultry, pizza, soup, chips, crackers, desserts, snacks, condiment, gravies, cold cuts, breads, already have salt in it. So like my kids that tell you, if somebody was like, where's the salt? I don't put it on the table. It's just not an option. My kids don't get salt at the table. They've never had it. They don't even ask for it. Whatever salt is in the food, that's the salt we got. That's it. That's it. Number 8, which food has the highest amount of sugar? This is a given one right here. B, sweet soda. Let's turn to the next slide. Sugary drinks are the leading source of added sugar in the American diet. If you ask me, is there I'm going to say 2 things you could do. Switch to as many whole foods as you can. Stop the sugary drinks. You will lose weight right now. A relative of mine stopped Kool-Aid and lost 20 pounds. I ain't going to tell who that was. So sugary drinks are in sodas, fruit drinks, sports drinks, energy drinks, sweetened waters, and our beloved coffee, right? People used to cost Starbucks $5, but now it's $7. That's how much it really costs now. $7, okay? $12. If you go to the next slide, you'll see how much sugar is in each type of drink you have. Now, I don't know what's special about orange drink. I'm not a particular lover of orange flavor things, but it seems to have more sugar than everything else, it seems like. But look at a regular orange soda, 13 teaspoons of sugar. A fruit juice drink, Tang or something like that, 10. A regular soda, 10. They say about a can of soda is about 250 calories. It's like eating a candy bar when you drink a can of soda. When we look at the dietary recommendations for Americans from 2020 to 2025, people aged 2 and older should limit the sugar added intake to be less than 10% of their total daily calories. So some people are not math people, so I put the math in here for you. If you were 2,000 calories, 200 calories should be the sugar intake that you have. And then children younger than 2 should not be given any foods or beverages with added sugar. They can get, jarred pears and all that kind of stuff, but just giving them added sugar. I didn't put the statistics, but our 2-year-olds are having an obese problem now in Saginaw County. Number 9, according to the CDC, which beverage is the best choice for hydration? You're dehydrated? Water, right? Everybody wants to give you a sports drink, right? Or some kind of thing, but water is the best drink for us. Let's talk about energy drinks because they talk about energy drinks in this question here. Energy drinks are often marketed as products that increase energy. In addition to added sugar, these products may also contain large amounts of caffeine or other legal stimulants. You have to be very careful about energy drinks. I know people who drink them every day. A Monster, I don't know what else they call it. Yeah, Red Bull. You can fly with Red Bull, right? But this right here can cause heart rate increase, blood pressure increase. Some people like to smoke and do the caffeine at the same time because they work together. So this is really important. Be careful about the number of energy drinks that you drink. If you want energy, this gives you some examples of things you can do. You can use unsweetened tea. That has caffeine in it, but you don't have the sugar. You can do fruit juice. Fruit juice can give you energy, but it also will give you calories, so be careful. You can just drink some water, some iced coffee, but again, we're talking about caffeine, and then eating a snack like a whole fruit may give you some energy if you need some. Next, number 10, true or false? Eating a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables can help you get different vitamins and minerals. True. The more colorful, the better it is, right? So get multiple different kinds of fruits that you're eating. Get multiple different kinds of vegetables. Make it pretty so that you can get all the different types of vitamins that you need. A lot of people ask, what's the best diet? Is it high protein, Daniel's diet, Mediterranean diet, low carb diet, keto diet? What's the best diet? The best diet, first of all, is the one that you can stick to, okay? So if you can stick to just taking one thing out of your diet, like the sugary drinks, that's a good step because you can consistently do it. Whatever you can consistently do, start making small changes that makes it'll make a big difference. Now, a good one is whole foods. But again, maybe you can just start saying, instead of eating pasta, because did you hear my kids don't get pasta? They don't get that. They get vegetables and fruit salad and meat. So we're trying to make a change because we were eating rice and potatoes, and every once in a while we get potatoes. Every once in a while we'll have a pasta. But it's rare because I'm trying to get that daily fruit and vegetables that they need for sure at dinner, especially in Saginaw when all the kids get to have free lunch and free breakfast at school. We want to make sure that our plate is full of fruit, vegetables, whole grains, low-fat dairy, and various sources of protein, and limit the added sugar and sodium. When we think about our kids, the My Plate is exactly the same for kids. They have to have fruits, veggies, grains, protein, dairy, and half of their plate should be just the same. It should not be any difference for the little kids. One of the things that get us all is, I'm at work, I'm seeing patients, I'm supposed to be done at 12, but I'll be talking, and I didn't finish until 12:40. My next patient started at 1 o'clock. So what do? I got to order Jimmy John's. Right? I got to order somebody to bring the food. But if we start smart planning and get our food ready before we go to work, even if I run over, I could eat the food that I already cooked because I know how much salt, sugar, fat is in it because I made it. So we got to start preparing our meals in advance and choosing healthier options and smaller portions if we're going to eat out. Parents, we have to start modeling healthy eating habits for our kids. What we are dealing with in the African American community is generations of eating a certain way. We know this. Our taste buds like them. We like it better if it's fried. We like fried catfish. We didn't grow up eating salmon. If we did, we ate salmon croquet, which means they put some stuff in it and fried it, which was absolutely delicious, but did not give us the healthiest version that we need. We must start modeling this behavior because if not, it'll just keep going on for generation and generation and generation. We know that majority of our relatives have diabetes. We know the majority of our relatives have high blood pressure. But just because we have the genetics don't mean that we have to have it too. Now, it is after 1 o'clock. I'm going to save the exercise portion for you guys at home so that you guys can go through this on your own because you have it on there. Let me just say that kids are supposed to exercise 60 minutes per day. Now, this includes recess. It includes gym class. But a lot of our kids, because they're on the tablet or whatever, they don't get the exercise that they need. So we need to be making sure, like, what we got to do is say, not go out there and exercise. It's come exercise with me. Because adults are supposed to be getting 150 minutes of exercise per day. So, and I'm going to tell you something about young kids these days. Because they don't have a chance to exercise, what they end up doing is, when you go, let's go for a walk, they be like, a walk? How far do we have to walk? How much do we have to go? Because they're not used to doing it. But this is the thing. We got to get our kids out there, just like the people in the neighborhood did. After dinner, go for a walk as a family. I'm going to go to slide 54, Willie, and if you can get there, great. If not, that's fine. But putting it all together, plan ahead for balanced meals and snacks. Move more. Walk, stretch, and train. And start small, but build sustainable habits. Treat your body as one that is special, one that is one of a kind, one that is a vessel chosen by God to do the things he has called you to do. In order for us to do that, we need to be our best and healthiest self. Amen.
Great job.